Hello, GSD432 class. Yes, you have me again. Sucks to be you. Just kidding. So with this class, this is part 2 to our part 1, and so we are going to continue with our Unity 3D game development. So in the first class, in the 431 class, part of it was about getting to know Unity. It was about programming games and getting that base foundation set and learning how to do certain game aspects of it. In this class, we're going to crank it up, and it's going to get a lot more difficult. So with that said, let's go through the course real quick and through this week's seminar. I'm going to list discussion questions. Let's start there. Just like last class, I have all the discussion questions in their individual weeks, and then discussion questions are in their individual threads in the forums. Okay. There is a student section like before, and an instructor section. Okay. If you have a question that is specific to me, put it in the instructor section, and I get notified when you post there, so I'll respond right away. If you have a question that you don't need me to respond, but you need somebody to respond, like maybe your classmates, put that in the student question section, and then they can hopefully your classmates can help you out. If in like 3 days or so you get no response from them, they're ignoring you or something, post it in the faculty section and I'll address it. Okay. So with the faculty one, I try to get to within a day, if not like within seconds. The student and the discussion questions, probably if you've noticed from last class, I might not see the question, or I might, I'm not going to answer those questions for a couple days, and so they might get lost. So the best way to get me to respond is to post it in the faculty section. Discussion questions. Okay, so that's it on discussion questions for now. For this class, the seminars, I'll break it down real quick. Seminars 1, 2, and 3, we're going to be working on one game, and that is that stealth game. It's going to be a stealth game. And so this is more of an advanced game, and so we're going to take the 3 weeks or 3 seminars to go through it, and so you guys can get a better understanding of some more of these advanced topics and processes. Okay, and since this is game programming, seminars 4, 5, and 6, those projects are purely programming. Okay, so no prefabs, nothing like that, for the most part. Like 99% of the projects is going to be coding, and it's going to be you can go look, but it's going to be cave generation 1 week, and then we're going to take that and we're going to expand it into a maze generation, and then we're going to take that, and then in the last week it's kind of up to you on what do you want to do with it. So we got to make a game, and this is you guys kind of exploring what you can and can't do, and you guys thinking outside of the box, and that's kind of a little introduction per se for the 499 course, the senior project. Okay. Yes. So for seminar 1, let's go through that page real quick. Like before, there's no book. I know some of you hate the fact that there's no book, but we're trying to save you some money by not having a book, because every book that we review is always a couple versions behind the current version of Unity. And I know we're using an older version of Unity, and that's just because newer versions of Unity it's just a little hard to keep up with the newer versions of Unity and making sure that they work with every single project that we work on. Okay, and so that's why I kind of say, okay, we're working with this Unity version of Unity, and that also makes sure that everybody's using the same version of Unity, and so we're not battling on what version people are on. Because if everybody had a different version, then I would have to install different versions on my computer, and I'm not going to do that. So to keep everybody on the same page, we're going to use the version I stated in the announcement page. Okay. So we have video tutorials again, the stealth ones. So we're doing stealth. So the first 3 seminars are stealth. So watch the videos. Discussion questions. We have 4 discussion questions this week. Okay. Really put some thought into these questions and do some real research. Hopefully, in the last seminar, when we talked about seminar 6 from the previous course, the solid programming principles, I really hope you guys really looked into that, read up on it, and understood those principles, because they will make your life a lot better when it comes to programming. Okay. So yeah. Design pattern. So we're going to do the observer design pattern. So go out there, look for it. Make sure you find the correct UML or diagram for that, and make sure you understand what you're doing with, or what the objective of an observer design pattern is. Okay, and these names are not cryptic. They're pretty straightforward. So give you a big hint. The observer design pattern is observing something. Okay, enough said. So this design pattern is probably one of the more separates the men from the boys kind of thing, right? People who don't know about design patterns or how to design good code, good programs, will do the opposite of what this design pattern is used for, and it's pretty obvious that they don't understand these concepts. And so this one is a pretty straightforward concept, and once you know it, you kind of don't want to do the old way of how you used to do stuff, in a sense. So enough hand waving on that one. We'll talk about more next week. Your project, pretty much, follow along with the tutorial. Pass it in. All our codes are going to be in C++. Reflection journals. Please fill those out every week. Okay? And if there's something you want to vent about or talk about that doesn't fall under one of these questions, add a new section and say, hey, I want to talk about this, and to let you know that, blah, 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 whatever, right? So, you don't have to keep, please answer all these questions, but you can add more if you need to, okay? You're not going to get docked for it, okay? And like I said in the last class, at the very end, I should have said at the beginning, the reflection journal, your grade is pretty much, did you do it or not do it? Okay? I'm not going to read it and be all, okay, that was worth a C or B, right? But I will grade it on, do these sound like you wrote them yesterday or 5 minutes before you passed them in, right? Or do they read as if you filled them out every week, okay? And it's pretty obvious, or at least to me, when somebody writes them each week and somebody who wrote all 6 of them 5 minutes before they pass it in, okay? And it's kind of hard to fake it at the end too, so I will know. The knows, whatever. Engagement. Just make sure you're posting to the discussion board. And I'm not talking about posting your answer to the discussion questions. I'm talking about you posting to responses to other students. So if Bob posts his answer to a discussion question and then Jane responds to Bob's post, that counts for Jane. Bob's post to the discussion question doesn't count for engagement, okay? I just want to kind of clear that up. That's it in a nutshell for Seminar 1. The one other topic I wanted to talk about is zipping up your files. Now, in this class we're not going to really deal with big projects, but in another class that I teach, one group had almost a 6 gigabyte project. It was humongous. I've never had a group have such a huge project. Anyways, when they zipped it up, it was a little over 3 gigs in a zip file. So, of course, I sat here for like an hour waiting for it to download. And then what I did was I use a tool called 7-Zip. It decompresses a whole bunch of different formats, and then it compresses into a couple formats. And so I decompressed it with that, and then just to see how it worked, I compressed it back into a zip file, and so the unzipped was 6 gigs. The zip file that I got from the students was a little over 3 gigs. This application actually zipped it up, and it was just a tad under 3 gigabytes. Not a big difference there. And then I decided to zip it in the format that they have, which is a 7Z file. And I went through the settings and I put it on ultra compress, and it took that 6 gigabyte file folder structure and compressed it down to under a gigabyte. And so this tool actually would, if they had used it, and I didn't tell them about it until after I did this little test with their file, it would have saved, it would take them a third of the time to upload this file for them. It would have taken a third of the time for me to download it, and save all that frustration and headache, because I had another group as well who had their project was about 3 gigs, and again, these projects should not have been this big. They had just gone gangbusters with their projects. Anyways, long story short, you can use this tool, the 7-Zip tool, and you can just Google it to find it. I think it's 7zip.org. You can download it. It's free. I think there's a Mac. I think there's a Windows version. There's definitely a Windows version because I'm using it. There's a Linux version. You can download it, and it's free. And I think it's great. I use it. I've been using it for years. I think that's it. I'll get off my soapbox on that. Lastly, if you need help, let me know. I am here to help you guys out, okay? Again, the project class, if you haven't figured it out, is the senior project class. Man, they've been asking me questions left and right this semester, and that's a little odd because usually that class can be, pretty quiet compared to this class. But they were asking questions, and I was helping them out with their projects, and I think some of you were asking me questions too. So that's great. I hope I was answering them. Just keep harassing me with those questions, harassing in a good way. I think that's it. This video is getting long. I'll cut it here. But yeah, glad to see you guys again.